Hey there, and welcome to Crochet Therapy. I'm Barbara, your host for this episode number 4 in the 12 weeks of Crochet Christmas. And I am so excited to bring to you today's project. Today's project is truly a scrap busting project. It is so quick and so easy to do. You hardly have to follow the directions. That's how stinking easy it is. So I'm going to show you what I have created, and I am making more and more of these, but these are the ones, and I've already given some away, so these are the ones that I have. This right here is a Christmas ornament, and it can be squished into place. It is so easy to use. Now this is in orange and blue colors, so don't be hating if you don't like the Gators, the Florida Gators. But the Florida Gator football, the college football team is about to start in a couple Saturdays, and so I am getting a head start on my Gator colors for our Christmas tree this year. The great thing is that this can be any color you want. And it's so easy. This is made of 2 strands of size 4 weight yarn. So any yarn that you have, a little scrap of, go ahead and put it with another color, or you can just do 2 strands of the same color to make a solid ornament. And then just an extra color for the top. I have used Karen Simply Soft in a heather gray for the top, and it to me looks like the little silver top on an ornament, and so I'm super happy about that. But anyway, this is super easy, super quick, and a great way to use up some extra yarn that you have lying around. And let's get started. Okay, let's get started. To make our ornament, we will be using 2 strands of yarn at one time. So choose your yarn. It won't take a lot, and you can use the same color yarn to make a solid color ornament, or you can use 2 different colors. You can use contrasting colors or similar colors. However you want to do it is fine. You'll also need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle for the end. I'm using a 7mm hook, and this is my clover hook. It's one of my favorites. It's super easy to use. If you don't have a 7mm hook, you can use something in that range. If you have a 6.5, that would work as well. Now the yarn that I'm using is a scrap busting project, but the yarn that I'm using is a 4-weight yarn. So 2 4-weight yarns together. And then at the end, when we get to the top of our ornament, we're going to make a little top of the ornament part. And so I'm going to use a little bit of silver for that. We won't need a whole lot of yarn for that. So the first thing we're going to do is make a magic knot. A magic circle. It starts out very similar to the magic knot, and yet then we go in and we put a slip knot in there, and that holds the circle together. Okay, and we are going to go ahead and put 8 single crochets into this magic circle, and we're going to go over the short tail, and that way we can cinch it in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay, so we're going to take the tail end of this yarn and we're going to pull it. Not too tight at first because we want to go ahead and we are going to actually crochet in the round. So we are going to immediately start crocheting into that first single crochet. And it's harder to get into that first single crochet if you tighten it up too tight. So let's get started on that row and then we'll tighten it a little bit more. Okay, so I always make sure that I have the first single crochet of the row by counting backwards from my hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is actually the first single crochet, and I am going to make sure, especially as I'm beginning, that I get all 4 strands, both colors, of that first single crochet. Okay, and we are going to do a single crochet. There we go. And now we're going to tighten. Okay, and as we tighten, then we're going to also encourage this to go out. Okay, because then that makes the stitches even easier to see. If you let it come in, then do you see how they disappear? But if you push this out, it's just a little trick that I do. If you push this out, then these stitches actually pop themselves out, so it's easier to see. So we have our foundation of 8 single crochet. Now for this first row, we are going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch. So we have our first one here in this first stitch. So we're going to go back into that same stitch and we're going to do 1 more single crochet, and we are going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. Now I am going to grab my stitch marker. I just did 2 single crochets. Let me grab my stitch marker. And so this was the first stitch in this new row, in row number 1. So we're going to do 2 single crochets, and I'm going to make sure that I get all 4 strands. If something looks a little wonky, then it probably is. Take a closer look at it and make sure that you have all 4 strands. Two single crochets in each stitch around until you get to the end. And when we get to the end, we should have 16 stitches. And if you know anything about me, you know what I'm about to do. I'm about to count my stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Perfect. And I'm going to still encourage it to go out. And also, I'm going to pull in the little short tail to keep this tight. And eventually we will be weaving in those ends. Okay. And at this point also, if you want to go ahead and weave in those ends right now, go for it. Okay, so I took care of weaving in my ends. I'm going to leave this the tail ends, because that can, that can be stuffing. So I'm not going to waste that little bit of yarn. I'll just use that as stuffing. So I'll have to keep that out of the way, but that's not a problem. So we are on to round 2. This is our foundation round, and this was round 1. Round 2, we are going to do 2 single crochets in that first stitch and 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and we're going to continue that around until we get back to the beginning. 2 1 2 1 2 1 until we get back down around to the beginning, and use your stitch marker. 1 2 in the same stitch, and then 1 in this next stitch. Okay, 1 2 3. Here's my first stitch. Boy, these stitch markers are a lifesaver, let me tell you. So 1 2 3, I've made 3 stitches so far, and I'm going to continue around, and I'll meet you back when we get to the beginning. Okay, so we're at the end of this row. When you get to the end of this row, you should have 24 stitches around. Okay, and that is the end of row 2. Now on to row 3. Row 3 is very simple. We do 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. 2 single crochets in one stitch, 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, and we follow that all the way around until we get back to the beginning. And let's go ahead and do that. Take your stitch marker out. Don't forget to put your stitch marker into your first stitch once you get it going. We're going to do 2 single crochets, and then 1 single crochet in each of the next 2 stitches. So that's 4 stitches back. There we go. 1 2 3 4. This is our first stitch. There we go. And we'll continue around until we get back to the beginning. 2 stitches, and then 1 1. Okay, so now for row 4 through 7, we will do 1 single crochet in each stitch. Now here is where it's easy to get mixed up with where you are. So don't forget to use your stitch marker. I usually put 2 in if I'm only doing 1 stitch around, and that way I can get my hook enough away from the stitch so that I can go in. So I put 2 stitches in, I went 2 back, there's my stitch marker, and I am going to crochet 1 stitch in each stitch around rows 4 through 7, and I'll meet you back at the beginning of row 8. Okay, now I'm back to where my stitch marker was, but I just want to show you something, and I hope that you can see it. I'm going to try to get a little bit closer. Now, this was our foundation row right here. Now, can you see? Now we went in the round, so right here is where that started, and it just spirals out and spirals out, okay? Now right here is where we started. Our work has a tendency to go to the right as it grows, okay? So what I'm going to do, and this is not going to affect the stitch count or anything, but what I'm going to do is add a couple more stitches just so that I can bring row 7 in line with the beginning of where the spiral starts right here. So I think 2 more stitches is all that I'm going to need to do to bring that in line. There we go. Okay, so row 8, we are going to single crochet 2 together, and the next stitch is 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet. So single crochet 2 together. What we do is we insert our hook, yarn over and pull through and hold. Insert our hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through and hold. We have 3 stitches on our hook. Then we yarn over and pull through all 3, and what we have done is turned these 2 stitches into 1. So I'm going to put my stitch marker there. It's very important in this stage of the game to use your stitch marker. So that was my single crochet 2 together. Now we are going to do 2 single crochets in a row. 1 single crochet in the next stitch and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then we are going to do single crochet 2 together. This is also called a decrease. There we go. And then 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Okay. Single crochet 2 together. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Single crochet 2 together. Okay. 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet. And this is what we're going to do for this whole row until we get back to our beginning. Okay, and I'll meet you back there. Okay, so I've made it back to the beginning, and now our row number 9 is single crochet 2 together and 1 single crochet. Single crochet 2 together, 1 single crochet. Take our stitch marker out. Single crochet 2 together. One single crochet. Okay, I'm going to put my stitch marker back in. Okay. And this is bringing our ornament in. Single crochet 2 together. 1 single crochet. Single crochet 2 together. One single crochet. Single crochet 2 together, 1 single crochet. Two together, 1 single crochet. Two together. Now don't mistake and go in that same stitch. You need to go into the next stitch. 1 single crochet. Single crochet 2 together. 1 single crochet. 2 together. And 1 single crochet. Okay. We're at the end of round 8. If you want to put some stuffing in there right now, some fiber fill, you can. If you want to wait and hold off a little bit, you can do that as well. Okay. This is pretty. It's turning out really pretty. I like these colors together. They remind me of a candy cane, and I just like them. They're very festive. Okay, so round 10. we're going to do a row of single crochet 2 together. And after this row, we definitely will want to start stuffing. Single crochet 2 together. I'm going to put my stitch marker in. Single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 2 together. Single crochet 2 together. And it's getting tighter and tighter. So I think right now I haven't finished this round, but I think right now what I'm going to do is pull up and I'm going to start stuffing. So I may have to get some more fiber fill, and I'm just going to use little tiny bits of stuffing because I want to make sure that it fills in all of these little gaps here, and the smaller amounts tend to move around a little better. Okay, I'm going to keep stuffing, and then I'm going to finish my single crochet 2 together, and I'll meet you back at our beginning. Okay, now we're going to do one more row. We are going to do 2 together. And 1. And 2 together. And 1. Now at this point, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Okay, so at this point we have 6 stitches, and what we are going to do is form the little top of our ornament. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to tie off. I'm going to leave kind of a long strand here. I'm going to tie off. Okay. And I really don't want to interfere with the top, but I do want to weave this in a little bit. Now we have 6 stitches here. What I'm going to do is actually go to a smaller hook because the yarn that I'm using for the top of the ornament is Caron Simply Soft. And to be honest with you, when I doubled it, I did try. When I doubled it, which I would really love to do, it was so hard to keep the strand straight because I don't know if it's because it's so soft or because it likes to split. I'm not sure exactly why. So I'm going to use a single strand, and I went ahead and went down to a 6mm hook for this part. So I am going to, okay, all right, did a slip knot. Gosh, that was throwback. That's the way I used to do a slip knot a long time ago. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go into a stitch, and I'm just going to pull through I'm going to encourage that yarn to go in here. Go in. Because we're going to start working from the outside, and when we finish, we won't have anything to worry about there. Okay, so I'm going to do a single crochet, 2 single crochets in that first stitch, and actually I'm going to do 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So we should end up with 12 single crochets. And I know this is kind of challenging, and if this doesn't float your boat, if you want to make one and then just sew it on, go for it. But this is the way I'm doing it. I hate sewing things together. I would much rather just get it done right here. Okay, one more stitch, and I'm at the end of this row. I'm going to find this first stitch. Okay, there's 2 right there. And I'm going to go into this first stitch right there. And I'm going to keep going in the round, single crochet. And so for this, I'm going to just keep going and do 1 single crochet in each stitch. And I know it's challenging, just do your best. And that little string wants to come up. Huh? You stick that back down in there. Get down in there. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Sometimes I think I need better eyes, but I'm grateful for the eyes that I have. Okay. Now I'm putting this on film because I want you to see that yes, I am struggling a little bit with this, but it is doable, and you just have to be patient, and trust me, you will like the result at the end. And it does get easier as you go up. Okay, we're back at the beginning. Let me see. What do I think? Do I want to go another? Okay. Now what we're going to do, so we did two solid rows. Now what we're going to do is just decrease a little bit. We're going to do 2 more regulars just to get going around. Yep, you know what? I'm going to go around one more time. And with this, you can make the top of your ornament as tall as you want. Really depends on your yarn. Now, like I said, I'm using the Caron Simply Soft. If you are using something like Red Heart Super Saver, it's going to be a little bulkier, and so you may not need to do that extra row. But I am just eyeballing it. And I almost did gold because I have some Caron Simply Soft gold as well. And I almost did gold, but I'm super happy that I did this silver. Let me see real quick. I'm going to look and see. Yeah, It's called Heather Gray. Heather Gray, and it is the Karen Simply Soft from Yarnspirations. So that's the color that I'm using for the top of this. And you know what? I think I'm done with the height. Let me see. Where did I start? You know, it's hard to tell where you started, which is okay. That's kind of good. Don't you think? I think so. Okay, so now I'm going to bring it in a little bit. So I'm going to do single crochet 2 together. And we've done that before, so we know how to do that. And I'm going to bring it in really fast. So I'm just going to do single crochet 2 together all the way around, because I don't want it to go to a point. You know, it is going to go a little bit to a point, and that's okay, but I don't want it to be too pointy. I kind of want it to mimic the tops of the ornament holders. Okay, and I'm just going to keep going 2 together until it closes up. Until I can't get any more 2 togethers in there. And I'm almost there. And you know what? I just thought, I might want to put a little bit of filling in there. Maybe not. Yeah, you know what? I do. I want to put a little bit of filling in there. You know, I call it filling. It's just fiber fill. So let's see if I can get some fiber fill down in there. Maybe I'll use this. I should have thought about that before. So if you are just watching and haven't started working on this yet, don't do what I just did. There we go. Oh yeah, look at that. That's much better. Oh yeah. Okay, good job. Okay, and when you believe that you are at the point where you can no longer, now once I tightened that, look what happened. See, it really did do good at closing it off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in through the side here, and I'm going to pull it through and pull it through. Okay, and then I'm going to tighten it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Okay, I'm going to leave that at 21. And I'm going to go in, back into here, and I'm going to tie off. Okay, and tie off. Okay, and I'm going to clip my work and pull this through nice and tight. And then I'm going to weave this in But take a look. Here is our ornament, all ready for hanging on the tree. How great is that? I'm excited. Weave in my ends. And we're all done. So what did you think? Aren't these easy to make? They're so easy to make and they're super quick. And by using the 2 strands of 4-weight yarn, it is a project that just whips through so fast. I've already got some on order. My little granddaughter saw these. My little 2-year-old granddaughter saw these, and she placed an order for 1 red one and 1 green one. So Grammy's going to have to get busy making those. And my husband placed an order for red ones and blue ones for our Christmas tree this year. The great thing about this is they're not glass. They're not going to break. They are super pet friendly because of using the 2 strands of 4-weight yarn. They really are pet friendly. If your little kitty gets up in the tree and starts swatting, if it falls to the ground and she swats it around the room, you're not going to have glass breaking. And you know what? If your cat or dog takes over it, it's super quick to make another one. So anyway, I am in love with these. And I had told my husband last year that I really wanted us to go to a homemade Christmas tree, meaning we use the tree, but we use all homemade ornaments. And anyway, I really like it. You know, if you did it in a solid and you took a little embroidery needle and some thread, some floss, you could even write someone's name on it. Or as in this one, you could write Gators or whatever your team is. You know, you could write their name on there or write the recipient's name on it. And that would be something really cool. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope that you make lots and lots of these. I am making lots and lots of these because they are just something that I can do almost in my sleep. Have a great week and share this. Hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell so that you get further notifications of the upcoming tutorials. If you haven't checked out my first 3 tutorials, go ahead and check those out because there's some really nice Christmas gifts in there. I hope that you have a great day. Stay safe, be kind, and get hooking.